can you find any true budget knives with high-performance MagnaCut steel? And thanks to your comments, we're revisiting our thin knives special that we did earlier this week because you had a lot of good stuff to talk about. All of that and more on today's episode of KniFAQ, number 237 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter. That's Thomas behind the camera as usual.
140 jars of mayonnaise. I'm making lunch plans.
For how many armies? His random words continue to get randomer. Hey, what are you going to do? Anyway, if you're new to this series, what we do is we answer your questions. We pull them from the comments section. Thomas makes weird statements. But if you have a question you want considered for a future episode, please leave it in the comments as well. First question today is from Robert Fontes. What's a good budget-friendly folder in the 3-inch range with MagnaCut steel? MagnaCut, of course, is still the rage. It is the first stainless steel with high edge retention that also comes with a high degree of toughness as well. A pretty neat trick and kind of rule breaking when it came out. And we do see it and are seeing it in more affordable versions or more affordable knives these days. Some even under $100. Budget friendly, you know, you didn't mention what your budget was. So it's hard to really call even the cheapest MagnaCut knives or least expensive MagnaCut knives right now, like budget picks as we generally use the term, but I am going to show you the cheapest way to get into a MagnaCut knife at this point in time. And that would be with something like this, the Spyderco UK pen knife, coming in about $93 and some change. It is a non-locking knife. This is part of the UKPK series or the Slip It series. So you have a slip joint mechanism. It does come with an additional safety feature that most slip joints don't, and that is the guarded finger choil right here. The way you hold the knife, like so, if the blade were to come open or start to close, your finger is likely going to keep it from going further without cutting yourself as well, which is pretty nice. It's a very lightweight knife. It's not going to weigh you down. 1.69 ounces. That's a little bit less than the famously lightweight Benchmade bug out. You got a 3-inch MagnaCut blade, FRN handles, and wire pocket clip. Pretty nice knife overall, and especially nice for folks in jurisdictions where you can't carry a one-hand opening or locking or one-hand opening locking knife. The UK in particular. UK pen knife. The Germans, since their one-hand opening knives can't be locking in that country, this, if it's not too long, should work. Again, we're not lawyers though. Take all of this with a grain of salt.
Definitely not European lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Far from it. You could also go with something like the Bestech TARDIS. This KnifeCenter exclusive version features MagnaCut steel, two-tone black and white G10 handles, $95 right now, with a 3.15-inch blade. Pretty hefty cleaver style blade here though. It's not a, it almost feels bigger than that blade length would suggest. You can also check out the Bestech Dundee, our KnifeCenter exclusive of that, has MagnaCut steel, and that's about $90, I think. It's a little bit larger though. That's getting closer to 3.5 inches on the blade, but you might want to check that out as well. But they are made really nicely. O-stop Hell design, nice snappy action, really satisfying when it opens too, thanks to that big, massive blade. But yeah, you could really get some bigger cuts achieved with a big blade like this. Also coming in under the $100 mark, but I don't have one right in front of me right now, the Ontario Rat 1.5, about a 3.25-inch blade, and a great all-around design. The Keyhome Bifold from Boker that we just got in stock, and you'll have bought out all of our current stock, which is why I don't have one of these in front of me, but we are getting more. That's about $106 and some change. Really slim, folded steel handles, 3.13-inch MagnaCut blade. That's a great option. After that, coming in about $120. This will be the most expensive knife I show you, but I'll talk about a couple others. The Kershaw Leek in this particular version. They have a couple MagnaCut bladed versions of these coming in just under $120. Great EDC blade, 3 inches long, precise, not as like heavy duty feeling as the blade on that TARDIS, of course, but it's good to have, you know, a contrasting option right here. Speed safe assisted opening, liner lock, aluminum handles with the black to red gradient. There's also a blue to red or a black to blue version of this, and I believe we still have both of those colorways in stonewashed and black blade options. And Kershaw really is, you know, hitting on all cylinders on the relatively affordable MagnaCut train of things right now. When you get around that $120 or right above that $120 mark that this Leak is, you can get stuff like the Link, the Blur, the Dividend, all for less than 150 bucks. And then the Bel Air, not this particular version, but fantastic and extremely popular knife from them, starts at just over 140 bucks. A couple of their launch automatics are less than 150 bucks too. The Hogue Deca, about 140. Actually, I have one of those over here too. With you know, just over 3-inch blade, MagnaCut steel. I did mention the Blur. That's a bigger knife too. MKM Yipper, about 140. The Native 5 Salt from Spyderco looks similar to this, about 145. Para 3 Salt, 148 and some change. Lots of cool stuff, but budget friendly. Depends on your budget, but attainable if you save up a little bit, even for folks who might only be able to buy a few knives a year, that sort of thing. I would hope anyway. I think they're pretty decent prices. Hope that helps. Well, now we're going to jump right into our Measured Once, Cut Twice segment, where we take a second slice at a previous question. And in this case, that previous question was basically Tuesday's video that we did earlier this week, talking about really slim EDC pocket knives. And you folks had a ton of suggestions, and we're gonna go through some of them to kind of see how they stack up versus what we actually showed on the video. And there, I will admit, there were a couple oversights on my part, and you guys caught them, so thank you for that. As reference, we're gonna use the thinnest and the thickest knife we had on the table there. So it's so thin it got a little slippery on me. The Boker Atlas slip joint and the Neutron from TRM here at top. The slip joint, as you can see, crazy thin. Not counting the pocket knife, you know, we won't, or the pocket clip, we won't count that. You know, looking at the spec sheet, the Atlas here is like 0.14 of an inch thick. Like it's barely about, you know, 5/32 of an inch overall thickness, and 0.365 on the Neutron. And this is, like I said, the kind of thickest we went with here, because once you start to get just a little bit over this type of handle thickness, you see a lot more stuff opening up. And that video was about, you know, keeping things as slim as could be. So the keeping it to, you know, those was a better move there. A lot of you folks mentioned the Chaparral. And while a good instinct, especially considering the lightweight version, does fall into the thickness range or thinness range we were looking at in the video, the standard version with the full handle scales is thicker. This is a famously thin knife, this Chaparral, and yet it was too thick for the video. And what I think that shows is just how kind of incredibly thin some of these knives have been pushed to keep things nice and slim. Really, really cool. And just for the reason why we didn't include the Chaparral lightweight is we did include another series of knives from Spyderco, their steel-handled lockback folders, which are even slimmer, even thinner than the Chaparral lightweight. So kudos to everyone who mentioned Chaparral lightweight specifically, but standard Chaparral, too thick. Next comment from CCTV Spy Store.
I don't trust you.
We sweep this room for bugs before we come out here. This individual called out one of my glaring omissions. Interesting, you didn't mention the Tactile Knife Co. Bear slip joint, the Bear. Bexar, that's Bear, the X is silent. With a thin handle titanium, or some G10 in some of these cases. Yeah, man, that is a very slim slip joint overall. Not the slimmest, but still incredibly slim right there. You can get them in titanium, as mentioned. You can get them in micarta, some G10 options. There's limited edition options on our site right now, including one that incorporates a bottle opener down here. That's about 199 bucks for most of them, or many of them, I should say. Some of them get up closer to 300, depending on how fancy things have gotten with them. Very slicey MagnaCut blade on these as well. Thank you for covering up or revealing my omission. Next, Lakesybig. David, why no cold steel? Code 4 or FM1? Sleepless and toughness not present in your picks. I'm not sure what that means. I'm embarrassed by this one too. I definitely should have thought of the FM1 specifically at first, but then I started thinking about other cold steel stuff too, so we'll talk about those. 250 bucks for this knife, 3.5-inch blade, very thin titanium handles, and the Axis lock, or Atlas lock, not Axis lock, Atlas. Very slim. Here, let's compare it to the Neutron right there. It is just a little bit thinner than our Neutron benchmark right there. So very good thing right there. The Code 4, yeah, absolutely. Same thing going on. Both of these knives, the FM4 or FM1 and the Code 4, mixing up my numbers here, are good examples of how a slim in the hand pocket knife doesn't have to mean you're dealing with just a tiny knife. These are kind of full-size knives. The Code 4 even verging, getting towards larger knife territory. 3.5-inch blade, S35 VN. These are about 112 bucks right now. Back lock, or triad lock, I should say, with the aluminum handles. Let's compare it to the Neutron benchmark here. You know what? It is just the scotiest hair thicker than the Neutron. So by my own rules that I laid out, I guess the Code 4 is too thick. This famously thin knife is too thick to be on the thinnest knives video. What does that tell you? It tells you things. Besser 12V66. You forgot the cold steel airlight. Yes, I did. Here it is. Great, affordable, slim cold steel. 56 bucks and some change. And the specs are quite good at that price range too. 3.5 or 3.43-inch blade, AUS 10 steel, very nice. Slim G10 handles and the triad lock. I almost said crossbar lock. That would have been incorrect. Let's compare it to the Neutron. My ichrometers are telling me they're like bang on, dead even in the thickness race there. So there you go. Good on you, folks. Some other cold steels. I had the Range Boss. Too thick. That's a famously thin knife, but it was too thick. Similar vein, the Buck 110 Slim. Very slim knife. It was too thick. So I didn't have that one either. Same thing with the new Buck Range Elites. Famously thin. Too thick. Also, the CRKT M16 has a stainless steel version, which is very slim and fun. Yes, it does. Here it is. This one has 12C27 steel and the stainless steel frame lock. Let's compare to the Neutron. It's a hair bit thicker. It's just a little bit thicker. Still a cool knife, but yeah, still gonna be a very easy knife to carry, but hey, we had to cut the line off somewhere. That did make me think of another one you folks didn't mention however, the Rake P801. Really cool knife here and very affordable, which is always appreciated. Let's check out our benchmark. Ooh, it's too thick. This is fun. This is what went into the making of that video. We had a lot more stuff that didn't wind up on the table because I'm thinking like you guys, like what are the thin knives? We pulled a bunch and we had to compare them to something, and if we had gotten thicker than this, the table would have been way too full. J Twig, K-Bar Dozier for the win. Awesome slim knife. Very affordable too, like 38 bucks, 37 bucks for D2 steel, injection molded handles, a very versatile, well-rounded design. Moment of truth, way too thick. Again, this is a very thin knife, but it doesn't deserve to be talked about amongst the thinnest. Timo Cuerno, big fan of the Black Cat Neutron and Leak. which we showed in that video. I have those 3 from this list. In my opinion, the best and most underrated slim knife is the ZT545. Yeah, how did I forget about that one? $272, 3.2-inch MagnaCut blade, titanium frame lock, unsupported carbon fiber for the front. It's not to say it's weak, it doesn't need the support because carbon fiber is strong enough to support itself in this instance. Let's compare, do the comparison dance. You know what? It's a skosh thinner as well than the Neutron. My goodness. I thought these were like bang on with each other, but yeah, my micrometers tell a different tale. What can I say? Still very slim. I actually really love the blade as well. Oh well, it's too much. Guraman. Just a few more, I promise. CRKT Kiss didn't make the cut. Is it more novelty than practical? You'd think removing a third of the knife would yield the thinnest possible carry. Fair point all around. There you go. This one's my favorite version right now. It's got the VG10 blade for about $45. Very reasonably priced for a VG10 knife. And a stainless steel frame lock and nothing on the front. It's a chisel ground blade, so the edge stays right next to the frame, so it's not gonna be likely to cut stuff even when you're pocket carrying it. And yeah, that's very slim. Very slim indeed. Is it as slim? It's definitely not as slim as the slip joint, the Atlas. I almost called it the Keyhone. How about the steel-handled Spydercos? Yeah, those crazy thin steel-handled Spydercos, even a little bit thicker than the Kiss right there. Good suggestion for sure. All right, Danzigruls, Demco and NanoShark and AD 20.5 are both great options. I'm surprised neither one was on the table. The NanoShark, despite being small and flat, is pretty thick, actually. The 20.5, good suggestion. Too thick. Great knife. Thin knife. Not thin enough. You know what might, however, the aluminum versions of the Shark Cub, but I didn't have one on the shelf to compare it, but a little birdie told me we might be getting some more next week, so keep an eye out. Before I get to the last one, a lot of folks, in addition to the Chaparral, mentioned the Bel Air. Again, too thick. What can I say? Great knife, too thick. Odin 350 is the last one. You forgot the Almar Ultra Slim. Yeah, let's end on a high note. There you go. That is a good suggestion. This is the 3.1-inch blade version, $45, D2 steel, stainless steel frame lock, ball bearings in the pivot. Nice and slim. Definitely falls within our definition of slim right here. Flips really nicely too. This could be a pretty a good knife for everyday carry that could be a little classier or look not out of place in more kind of like gents knife scenarios if you wanted to do something like that. Very cool. All right. I think we're done with thin knives now. Unless somebody comes up with something that's a true banger that I really missed. I think we've covered the most important stuff. But if you can think of something else, let me know in the comments. All right, now we come to the lightning round for today. One question in the round, so I guess it's the lightning strike. Poet Fisherman, can you make some suggestions for a locking work knife? Zip ties, cardboard pallet straps with a stainless powdered steel of at least 3 inches and FRN scales. My Spyderco Tenacious and S35VN fits the parameters perfectly, and I simply want more choices. I have 2 here, but I realize one of them is not purely stainless. 3V steel on the Demco 20.5 KnifeCenter exclusive clip point version here. We still have some in stock. They're on sale for about $150, which is a crazy good price. But 3V is not perfectly stainless. It does have some chromium in it, so it's not gonna like crazily rust away on you. You do have the coating as well, which can mitigate a little bit. You've got the shark lock. You've got a nice slim carry overall. Great knife. The other suggestion, and in fact, if we're going by blade shape, this is probably what I would choose. The Hogue Deca with the, we call it modified Warncliffe on the site. Thomas might call it a reverse Tonto.
It's in the club.
FRN handles, keeping it lightweight. Again, about $150. We're $148.46 right now on this particular version. this is a blade shape I would really like for the tasks you described. Crossbar lock, MagnaCut steel. That's very stainless. I think that should treat you pretty nicely. Either one would, but if you really want the stainless, you can go for this. And you don't have to get it in a black blade version. You can get satin or stonewash blades in different colors as well. Well, now we come to our most final question of the day, which is, of course, our most seriousest question of the day. Last week, we didn't have a most serious question because we kept it, we did a little bit different with our format than usual. So that was commented on by Boko Simondesu. No most serious question? Frowny face. Most serious question. What/which tool did/would Thomas use to cut out the most seriousest question from a KniFAQ video? Did he use it in a threatening manner, or did he cut the film, cut it out from the SD card? The tool is very simple. It was a keystroke. Control X. Cut.
Shift delete.
But I guess I put the bullets together, so I guess I did it instead. So anyway, that's all we have for today, folks. Keep your questions coming, please and thank you, including your most seriousest questions as well. They are the lifeblood of this series, and they keep it going. So thank you for everyone who has submitted a question these 237 episodes worth. We've done a lot of these things, man. If you have any alternate suggestions for anyone of these questions today, leave them in the comments. Let me know what you thought, whether I got things right or wrong, of course, as well. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend on your future purchases. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. Happy November, I guess. See you next time.